He is a god of the game.
Hello, hello, hello. Some wise old fellow once said that all good things must come to an end. Well, this season wasn't great for a lot of reasons, but it did end last weekend. Atletico finally clinching La Liga on the last day. Wait, can you hear, guys? That's the sound of me eating my humble pie after calling them Botletico Madrid few weeks back. Lille clinched the French league title, Liverpool finished third, Bale helps Chelsea finish fourth, Lewandowski finally scored that goal, legends saying goodbye to their clubs, and to top it all, Pep crying as if he just saw the Friends reunion teaser. Let's go!
Absolutely world class!
Woo! Finally, the league season is over. A perfect end to a not so perfect season, and we have our final winners, losers, chokers, ladies and gentlemen. But before getting deep into it, please allow me the pleasure of inviting Eeshaan to the podcast.
Hello. How are you guys?
Just before we discuss quickly how everything unfolded, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 being totally devastated and 10 being extremely elated, how would you rate your feelings at the end of this season?
Well, I would have been completely devastated if Real Madrid had lost the game. But we did what we had to do at the end, typical Real Madrid style, scoring at the death and winning the game. So, meaning we, as I said in the previous podcast, we shouldn't have been where we were. We were never in the place to fight for the league, and we still did it. So, I end the season being happy and pretty satisfied with how it ended. And congratulations to Atletico, because they were clear, outright deserved champions of the La Liga.
But you didn't answer me. 1 to 10. Give me a number.
What, 10 is devastated, right?
No, 1 is devastated. 10
I'll
is
say 3.
Extremely. Oh, 3. Okay, I thought I would be somewhere around 5, 6. Okay.
3 because we are Real Madrid, man.
Oh. For me, I mean, at an overall level, I would put myself somewhere around 7.
Wow.
Anyways. No, I was little happy for Liverpool, so.
A little?
Anyways, we started where we actually wanted to start. Like Eeshaan gave a very good intro of the things that we are going to start with. Yes, obviously La Liga, because that's where the title race was till the end of the weekend, end of the match week. And yeah, Eeshaan has said, Atletico Madrid are the champions. They won their 11th title, second under Simeone. But as we know, they didn't do it the easy way. They came from behind to defeat Real Valladolid, who themselves were winning, who themselves needed to win to avoid relegation, and it was none other than Luis Suarez who scored the winning goal. And on the other side, as Eeshaan was talking about, Real were 1-0 down until the 87th minute, but scored 2 goals to somehow win the game. So Eeshaan, if you can let our listeners know more about what happened in the Real Madrid-Villarreal game.
So I saw the Real Madrid game, and we all knew that Villarreal is going to be a tough opponent. I was surprised with the squad Emery lined up, because he played his full strength squad. Everyone was playing. Carlos Bacca, everyone was playing. I was a bit surprised, and I think probably Zidane was surprised as well, because you could see that in the initial first half, where Real Madrid, it was completely against the plan Real Madrid had, or the approach they had to the game, and Villarreal took it to them, because they're a really good team. They're an attacking team. They have a very good, solid midfield that, constantly distributes the ball to the wings and to the forward line. And Madrid was a little taken aback, and they got that well-deserved goal early on. Benzema had a goal disallowed through offside, marginal again. I don't know, this season has been a little iffy with regards to VAR, but it was offside, fair enough. But at that very juncture, I was tracking the Atletico game, and Atletico were trailing. If that goal had been allowed, for example, the message would have been relayed to the Atletico squad. It would have added that extra amount of pressure for Atletico to go out and go all out attack and try to score a goal, which would have opened the gap for Valladolid. But the moment they noticed that Real Madrid were down in the first half, I think they had that faith that, whatever the result, we'll still win it. And that helped them gain that confidence in the second half to score those goals. Real Madrid in the second half, I think, we made wholesale changes. We got all our attacking line in the game. We went all out attack. But our style this season has been very restricted in terms of our attacking flow, and we didn't have too many chances. But when push comes to shove, ball goes to Benzema, he scores. Ball goes to Modric, he scores. Because those have always been our big name, big game players. But I think the result, we were being, hopeful that it might be a fairy tale or a surprise. But I think the result overall for the La Liga panned out as it was supposed to. Atletico throughout the season have been dominant. They just had a really bad last 2 months where they, gave Real Madrid and Barcelona a look in. But it was never to be, it would have been a real undeserved title for Real Madrid if we had won. So, like as I said, congratulations to Atletico. They finally, spent the money in the right way, and it's actually, got them results. So, congratulations to Simeone as well.
So, talking about that first disallowed goal, so I was watching the Atletico Valladolid game I was watching that game actually, and I was following the Real Madrid Villarreal game on FootMob simultaneously on two screens. So the moment Benzema scored that goal, the commentator on this side announced that Benzema has scored, Real Madrid have levelled. So as it stands, Real Madrid are the winners. Within like a minute, Angel Correa scored here for Atletico Madrid. And when Angel Correa was scoring that goal, that Real Madrid's goal was under VAR review. Now, once this goal was scored, the commentators were, oh, great goal, blah, 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 blah. And then they were like, oh, just to give you an update, Benzema's goal has been disallowed. So, within a space of 2 minutes, it from being 1-1 at Real Madrid Villarreal and 1-0 to Valladolid Atletico Madrid, it became 1-0 to Real Madrid and 1-1 here at Atletico Valladolid. So it was that dramatic, that 2 minutes actually. But then the second goal, the first goal again was a brilliant goal by Correa.
Yeah.
It was great control. He dribbled the ball through 2-3 defenders and quick finish. And the second goal was a bad mistake, but Suarez was there to pounce on it, and a brilliant finish, great victory. Atletico were extremely poor in the first half at one level. I mean, like if they are playing like this in a day where they are supposed to win the league, this team doesn't deserve to win the league. But second half, they came out as a completely different team. They were always 2 steps ahead of Valladolid. They were faster. They were moving quicker. And once when they scored that 2 goal, they went into the regular Atletico Madrid mode. Like Valladolid hardly had any hand on their chances. I mean, Madrid were absolutely controlling them.
Yeah, it also coincided with the time where all the other results were going against Valladolid as well, where they were in a way resigned to their fate. So it all played out really well for Atletico in the end. But as Simeone said, Atletico is nothing without the struggle, and they had to create their own drama in the last game. And yeah, you as you rightly said, first half they were horrible. Like I have never seen Atletico concede a goal where a forward player has been through on goal.
Yeah.
In the first half, it was
it was so easy.
Yeah, exactly. And it was very strange, but the result doesn't matter at the end of the day.
I mean, it was not that Atletico weren't scoring goals. They were very easy to play against. See, we have watched Atletico. We have watched Simeone's Atletico ever since he took over. You can beat Atletico on your day. You can probably draw the game, but guaranteed the games won't be easy. They're a very nasty team. They're a very intimidating team. They were very passive in the first half. I'm pretty sure you have given everyone a good babundas during the halftime talk.
Yeah.
Which much needed bamboo, so they came out all guns blazing.
Also, a big congratulations to Kieran Trippier, who made the correct career move.
I was guessing when that dig is going to come.
Oh man.
Yeah. Alright, the league as we know ended with Atletico Madrid as champions, Real Madrid second, Barcelona third, Sevilla fourth. Nothing much changed there, and we don't want to talk much about it also. In the Europa League positions, there is 5th Real Sociedad, 6th Real Betis. Actually, Real Betis were 2-0 down against Celta Vigo. They came back and won 3-2. So that was also one of the most interesting games during the last game match week. So these are the top 6 teams. Villarreal are currently on 7th. If they win the Europa League, they will play the Champions League. Otherwise, they'll play the Europa Conference League. And the 3 relegated teams are Eibar, Valladolid and Huesca. So that's all from La Liga. So it was a great season, good end. Hopefully we'll see fans from next season onwards. Now moving on to the second league where the title race went on to the end. It's the Farmers League, Ligue 1, and it was between Lille and PSG obviously. But in the end, Lille held their nerve, won the game 2-1 against a pretty decent Angers. I don't know how do you pronounce it. Let's pronounce it Angers. Angers. They won 2-1 and PSG won their game in hand, but it didn't matter. Lille are the champions with 83 points, and they have won their first league in 10 years, 11 years, I believe. So congratulations to them. It was a good win.
I think the last time they won it, Hazard used to play for them.
Yes. I think you're right. Yes, Hazard used to play for them. True.
Yeah.
True. So I'm pretty sure Hazard must have.
It's such a pleasant surprise to see a different team winning a one club dominated league. PSG literally have no right in losing a domestic league with the squad they have. And I think that I saw one tweet where the value of Mbappe and Neymar is more than the entire Lille squad. And that just shows,
I remember.
Yeah, and that clearly shows the disparity in the wealth of clubs. And I think PSG just got it all wrong. I think they started the season with a sole focus of winning the Champions League because they just missed out last year in the final. So I think they thought that this would be their year, and they completely, in the initial stages, a couple of months, completely didn't focus on the domestic league. And by the time Pochettino came in, they just had a lot of points to cover up. I mean, they still blew a lot of games where they lost under Pochettino as well. But Lille were consistent. They won the big games. They played well against PSG as well. And, very well deserved league title for them. It went down to the last day, but, these are what, stories are made of, where smaller teams, another slight dig to the European Super League, right? Where the small teams are given the opportunity to win big titles. And, they'll be in the Champions League next year.
So, the so-called ultra-competitive English Premier League, we'll cover English Premier League in detail, but I just want to take a dig at it. That English Premier League had Manchester City winning their 3rd title in 4 years, whereas the Farmers League had a title winner after 11 years, a new title winner after 11 years. La Liga had a new title winner after 7 years. Serie A had a new title winner after 10 years. Yeah. So, just wanted to not miss this opportunity to take a dig at it.
I like how you ignored the Bundesliga.
We'll come there next season. Hopefully Bayern lose next season.
Yeah.
Just quickly talking about going back to the French league, as Eeshaan pointed out, I agree. But PSG did win a cup during the week. They won the Coupe de France, which is the FA Cup equivalent of France. Yeah. So they defeated Monaco in the finals. Pretty easy game. They won it. Pochettino adds one more trophy to his cabinet. Now he has won 2 trophies ever since he joined PSG. Which is 2 more than what he won in Tottenham.
Wow. What a trophy-laden career.
So that's about it. That's all about League 1. Again, a very good season. They had a lot of troubles. Their previous season ended abruptly. They didn't finish the season, if you guys remember. They started off pretty late. There were a lot of controversies initially. Their multi-billion-dollar TV deal bombed. So all the clubs went into a lot of financial stress. So it was good to see a new team, a team that is very true to its roots, winning the league title. So congratulations to Lille. Hope to see you guys. Will be good to see you guys in Champions League next year. All right. Now let's talk about the league that had very interesting top 4 race, and a league where actually two two match days happened in the last 7 days actually. So it was match week 37 and match week 38 both happened in the last 7 days. A lot of fortune changed across these two games. Actually, we're talking about English Premier League, guys. I mean, if that wasn't very clear earlier. So, as expected, Manchester City rounded off the two games pretty easily. They won the league.
It was a great testimonial game for Aguero because Everton played like it was a testimonial game.
Oh God! Oh yeah, that was the best line I've ever heard actually about Everton's performance. They were, I don't know, man. I don't want to spend too much time talking about Everton. I mean, they showed a lot of promise initially.
The match was defined by Aguero's first goal, where three defenders just said, "Okay, you can dodge us, beat us," and just prod the ball in. Pickford dove after the ball had passed him. It felt like one of those, proper, 70-year-old legend of Manchester City coming back to play his one last game. And that's how Everton treated it.
Yeah, it was very docile, very passive from them. Anyways, we'll do a detailed rundown on the teams that we loved, teams that we were disappointed. I'm pretty sure Everton will be there in that list.
Yeah.
So we'll cover that in detail. But yeah, going back to the three teams who are fighting for the top four positions, that is Liverpool, Leicester and Chelsea, they all played two games. Liverpool played Burnley in match week 37, which they won 3-0. And on the final day, they defeated Crystal Palace 2-0. And they made sure that they did whatever they had to do to get into the top four. Congratulations to them. The way the season unfolded for them towards towards game week 27, game week 28, they were, I think, in 7th position, 8 points behind top four. Pretty much everyone gave up on them, like including Liverpool fans like me. I am pretty sure Klopp once came to a press conference, and spoke highly about Europa League, that we will take Europa League seriously and all. So from that position to finishing third was, I think, a bit of a surprise, I would say. But yeah, I agree to the arguments that, hey, you are a big club, is third in the league table without a trophy. Is that to be happy about? Yeah, may not be. But again, coming back to the context of where Liverpool were and where they are right now, it is.
I think two things played into that storyline for Liverpool. By the final result against Crystal Palace, I think all the drama that we had expected, I think Liverpool had it the most easy. And two things contributed to that. As you said, in match day 26-27, Liverpool were out. Like I remember a podcast we did. We literally never put them in the top four.
Yeah.
So one of the two things was Liverpool didn't bottle it, and I think we were discussing this in on a WhatsApp conversation where Klopp has changed that mentality where they get the job done when it matters. It's not about producing sensational performances, although aka Allison a game or two ago, but they got the job done. But the other major contributor was all the other teams in the top four really bottled it. Like, oh my God, I still do not understand how Chelsea still made it to the top four with the way they've played in the last month. It's ridiculous. And you shared this image with me about how Leicester were in the top four for about 240, like almost the entirety of the season, and they were the ones who missed out. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But they bottled it as well, right? You have to be fair. The Tottenham game, I think, was the toughest game they had. I'm not surprised by the result, but there were other games that Leicester should have put away. The situation shouldn't have happened, and it did. So, those two storylines played a very important role in Liverpool being third. And contrary to what you think, I think Klopp will be extremely happy with the third place considering the major injuries and the way they were playing.
Yeah. He was elated, dude. His post-match conference, oh my God, he was almost full emotional. Not as emotional as Pep was, but he was emotional, and you could see the happiness in his face. Like, you could see the satisfaction.
Hey, if anyone has to cry, you should cry like Pep Guardiola. Wow.
Yeah.
Even I got emotional, and I'm not a City fan.
Yeah, I see. He has tried to be emotional earlier, but I don't know. I'm not that cynical to go out and say like, "Nay, crocodile tears," types. Whatever it is, he had a special place for Aguero in his heart, and that came out that day. and adding to the fact that this entire season was pretty emotional for many players. I mean, there were tough times, people were going through a lot. So to end this season in that note, in front of fans finally, yeah, there are too many things happening. I can understand
Yeah.
someone like Pep Guardiola, who puts so much in his head, who puts himself into so much pressure.
I think it was just a release from him where, a lot of pent up stress that he takes on his own self. It just came out. And obviously, it's fully understandable to do it for Aguero as to what a player he's been for Manchester City, even before Pep joined City, right? He has been one of the greatest ever players in that club. And I understand the emotion, but it was still a little crazy to watch Pep weep like that. A guy who's been so successful in his career, who's won everything that there is to win, and still being like that. It shows what football means to people, and like for people like us, it adds validity to why we do these podcasts.
Exactly.
Also, we like people crying.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to bring in another example. I mean, there's not a football example, but just talking about like when some outsiders go and say, "Arey, what is this? He has won his 10th title. Why is he being so emotional? He's being so emotional as if he's doing it for the first time." Like, I always want to give this example to anyone who kind of comes and says that someone who has achieved enough, his 100th achievement won't be as meaningful as the first. Watch out for Roger Federer. Every time he wins a Grand Slam, even the latest one, his 19th one, his 18th one, he will just fall down on the floor. He'll cry. I mean, it is so true. It is very honest to see that level of passion at that level of sport. I mean, that's why you respect more than what they produce on the field for these players. So yeah, just wanted to.
Yeah, because like a lot of people suddenly forget that there are 38 games in a league for you to win consistently to be a champion. A lot goes into each and every season. So winning it, even if it's is how City, for example, dominated, clearly the best team, it's still difficult to win a league, especially the Premier League where, all the teams are well funded. It's not, there's no such disparity in place. So I completely understand, and I think that's a great example you gave about Federer, because, what goes into winning a Grand Slam, people tend to forget. They just remember the result. So I think, it's fully commendable to Pep Guardiola. What a great manager. Definitely, without a doubt, one of the best managers of our generation. So yeah, next season will be interesting if City can do it again.
Manchester United finished second. There was no major.
Never any doubt.
There was never any doubt there. As expected, played a third string team. Their academy product Elanga scored their first goal. So congratulations to him.
What a great header, by the way. What a great header.
A great ball, a great header. It was a wonderful goal. Pretty proud moment for that young kid. Congratulations to him. And second goal was scored by Juan Mata. Again, what a story, what a player, what a man. I mean, is probably the most liked footballer, I believe, at least from our generations, I would say. It was very emotional to see him celebrate. He dedicated that goal to his mother. So Manchester United will cover Manchester.
Did he take the penalty with the walking stick?
No, man,
because I think he's like the Shahid Afridi of football. I feel he's been playing since I was born.
He's been with what, 2000? I remember him. First time I remember him hearing about him from, I think he played for Valencia, right?
Yes, he was Madrid Academy. Then he went to Valencia. He played when Valencia had David Silva, David Villa, a great team, Valencia team. Then he moved to Chelsea under Mourinho, and then United.
Okay, so Liverpool finished third. We discussed about them. Chelsea somehow managed to finish fourth, helped by Tottenham, who defeated Leicester on the last day 4-2. I mean, Leicester were 2-1 up till the 76th minute. We have talked enough about them choking it up. They lost the game 4-2. Leicester finished fifth. West Ham finished sixth. Again, a brilliant season for them. Yeah. We'll again cover much more detail about West Ham in our next episode. Yes, guys, we are just to give you guys a quick announcement. We are doing a season review next week. I'll give you more details about it towards the end, but just giving a snippet of it. So we'll do a much detailed review of what happened with other teams. Tottenham are qualified for the new Europa Conference League. and there was no changes in the relegation three. It was Fulham, West Brom, and Sheffield United. And as you guys know, Watford and Norwich have qualified for the next year's Premier League, and the final championship playoff between Brentford and Swansea will be played this Saturday. I think it was before the Champions League game. I don't think we can see that in India. So the winner of that game will be promoted to the Premier League next season. So they'll be the 20th team. So excited to see who will be between Brentford and Swansea, who will win that game and get to EPL next season. All right. So that's about Premier League. And moving on to the next league, which is Serie A, the Italian league, where again the top four race had more drama than the top two, which was already decided, which is Inter and Atlanta. Actually, Atlanta was not guaranteed top two, but they were guaranteed to finish in top four. Yeah, it was between AC Milan, Juventus and Napoli. Milan played their last game against Atlanta. Juve played their last game against Bologna. Napoli played their last games against Verona. Now, just to remind you guys that if Napoli and Milan win their respective games, it doesn't matter whatever happens against Juve and Bologna. Juve will be out of the Champions League places. But as we expected, the team that bottled it was none other than Napoli, who drew their game against Hellas Verona, who had nothing to play. Now, again, going back to the conversation we had about teams.
Hellas Verona had a hell of a game.
Hell of a Verona. That's true. So yeah, coming back to the point of teams that don't have anything to play for, guys, when you watch these teams react to the goals they score, you can understand how much it means for those players to screw up other teams' chances. So next time when someone says that, yeah, we are playing against a team who has nothing to lose, it is not an easy game, because those teams will take a lot out of screwing up chances for other teams.
Yeah.
As a Liverpool fan, I have faced it a lot. Trust me. So, so yeah, going back to Milan-Atlanta, Atlanta were little tired from their Coppa Italia loss against Juventus. So that was seen in the game, and Milan had a pretty brilliant game. They again did what they were supposed to do. They were very solid. Even though they scored 2 penalties, but they were able to convert those 2 penalties because they had problems with converting penalties over a period of time. But they scored those 2 important penalties. They won the game 2-0. So they qualified. Juventus,
They finished second.
By the way. And deservedly so. Because if you guys remember, they were on top of the league for at least 17-18 game weeks easily.
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't have a great mid-season. They had a lot of injuries, very key injuries actually. 2 of their best midfielders, Kessie and Benacer, they both missed a lot of the season, and even Zlatan missed a major chunk of the season. But they were able to cross the line and qualify for Champions League after 7 years, Eeshaan, or 8 years?
Yeah, 7 years at least. 6 or 7 at least. Yeah. But so happy to see them back in the Champions League, man.
Yeah. For relatively younger listeners, AC Milan have won the Champions League 7 times, guys. 7 times. So they are a fucking giant. So it's great to see them back in Champions League. So they qualified. As I said, Juventus made no mistake. A brilliant final game. 4-1. They absolutely dominated Bologna. They benched Ronaldo for this game. Pirlo, for all the criticism he has been receiving across the season, literally saved his job, or I would say saved Real Madrid's fortune indirectly by making sure that Juve stick with Pirlo by winning 3 crucial games, 3 absolutely crucial games. We discussed the 3-2 win over Inter last episode. They went and won the Coppa Italia in the midweek against Atlanta 2-1. We'll discuss that game a little bit in detail later. And then they won the final game against Bologna 4-1. So full credit to Pirlo. Again, I'm not trying to give him 5-star for the entire season. Yes, entire season they suck balls. But you will have to give credit to the last 3 games, which is the most crucial part of this season for both for Juventus, for Pirlo, and even as I said, indirectly for Real Madrid and other clubs also, because that could have actually started a big merry-go-round of coaches across Europe.
Yeah. But we still don't know. We still don't know for sure if Paulo is going to stick around. But he at least showed some of his credentials, and that he can probably do it if he given another chance with Juventus. And as you said, like, it was interesting to see Ronaldo being benched for one of the most important games in Juventus this season. Was that a statement by Paulo? I don't know, but it worked out. If it hadn't, I think that would have been the end of his managerial career immediately. But Ronaldo put out a cryptic Instagram post that game, showing all of his credentials like he does at the end of every season, which was very interesting to see. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be there for Juventus next season. I don't know where he will go, but at least he has a Champions League as a motivation.
Yeah, so that's very important for Juve. I mean, even after all that European Super League and all that shit happened, them not getting qualified for Champions League will be the final nail in Andrea Agnelli's coffin.
Actually, I saved the chairman's job as well, probably.
And just to update you guys, there is still a threat looming around Juve, Barcelona and Real Madrid in terms of them missing out on the next 2 or 3 Champions League. Again, there is absolutely no news on that yet, and there is just speculations going around.
Yeah.
And also Serie A made an official announcement stating that any club who are still associated with any league outside the approved leagues will face suspension from Serie A. So this was something that was released, I think, a couple of weeks ago. But again, it's still not been very serious. Politics works a little different in Italy. So we'll get to know more about it in the coming weeks.
Yes.
Serie A season ended with Inter winning the league after 10 years with 91 points. Milan finished second, Atlanta third, Juve fourth. So these 4 qualify for Champions League next season. In the 5th place, we have Napoli, whose coach Gennaro Gattuso will be leaving Napoli this summer. So they are in a rut. They'll probably have to find a new coach. Again, it was news as usual for Napoli screwing it up in the end. Something that we have seen. I mean, we are not here to piss off Napoli fans. Sorry, guys. We empathize with you. Please don't think we are taking a mickey out of you. But we're just stating a fact that this has happened for a very long time. So there's something that needs to change. 6th position, Lazio. So Napoli and Lazio will play Europa League. Guess who ended in the 7th position?
Roma.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. What a fall from grace.
Mourinho will be playing the Conference League.
He'll win it. He has to be the first to do something. He'll win it.
And guess who's from England playing the Conference League? Tottenham.
How the stories align.
Dude. At least for this I'll watch Conference League. At least for this.
Yeah. I'm just going to watch Roma because it has Smalling and Mkhitaryan.
Yeah. I'll just watch the pre-match and post-match conferences.
Yes.
We'll move on to the league where nothing mattered but one man scoring 1 goal. So the entire match day was all about one player scoring that one important goal, which he did eventually in the 90th minute. And that is none other than our own Robin Lewandowski, who finally scored that 41st goal, beating a 45 or 46-year-old record held by the great Gerd Müller, scoring 41 goals in a single season in Bundesliga. We have talked a lot about Lewandowski. We will definitely dedicate a small section to Lewandowski in our next week season review. He deserves that. Just to round off the results, Bayern won their game against Augsburg 5-2. Dortmund finished off their season. Again, Dortmund, similar to Liverpool, were in rut 7 or 8 game weeks before. But again, they put on a brilliant run. They won all their games. They even won their DFB Pokal Cup and finished third in the table. Leipzig finished second. We all know Nagelsmann is out. He is joining Bayern. And Jesse Marsch, who is the current Salzburg coach, he'll be joining Leipzig as the head coach. He's from America. He's probably the first or second American to coach in Germany. Dortmund, we all know Terzic is leaving. He'll be replaced by Marco Rosa. Wolfsburg finished fourth. They weren't in top four for, I think, the last 3-4 seasons. I think ever since De Bruyne left.
Yeah.
So good to see Wolfsburg back in top.
No, they were there after that as well. I remember the famous Ronaldo hat-trick against Wolfsburg in the Champions League.
So that was the season. So they qualified that season because of De Bruyne the season before that. So De Bruyne in 2014-15 season helped them to qualify, and then he went to City. Then in 15-16 season Wolfsburg played. Yeah, that game, that Ronaldo hat-trick. How can you forget that? And that was a turning point of Zidane's coaching career, I would say.
What a game. Anyway, let's move on. But I think just to end the talk about Bundesliga, it was also a game of farewells for Bayern Munich. David Alaba, who's been a great servant for Bayern Munich for almost a decade. It was his last game. He's officially leaving Bayern Munich. Everyone probably knows he's mostly joining Real Madrid, but we don't know. It was also the last game for Jerome Boateng, who's been again one of the legends of the Bayern backline for many years. Multiple Champions League winner, obviously a German national, not right now, but was World Cup winner. And it was also a last game for Douglas Costa, who had a second term with Bayern in the last couple of seasons. He's always been their backup winger and always been prolific for them. So 3 big players leaving the club, but we know Bayern will probably take a Dortmund player again next season to replace it.
They've already taken a Leipzig player.
Yeah. So I'm not worried about Bayern, but I really hope there's a challenge for Bayern next season. It'll be interesting. Nagelsmann, who I still believe is not the right fit for Bayern Munich, will have a challenging year because Bayern functions very differently as a big club, where winning is not enough. It's a lot of other internal politics that go on in Bayern Munich that, steers a lot of big managers away very soon. So that will be very interesting to watch. I hope Dortmund retain some of their superstars to compete. Leipzig will always be up there, but obviously, if there has to be a true challenger, it is Dortmund.
Yeah, just to add to the departures, Lucas Piszczek, Dortmund legend, he also played his last game for Dortmund, so he also left the club. So Bundesliga was all about breaking records and saying goodbyes to players. There was actually nothing much about that league because everything was decided during the last week itself. So great. So we have covered all the 5 leagues. So that's it, guys, that the league season is done. But the season is not over. We still have 2 major finals to happen. Wednesday night, Indian time, we have the Europa League finals between Villarreal and Manchester United. And on Saturday night, we have the Champions League finals between Manchester City and Chelsea. So let's just quickly review the United Villarreal game first. Eeshaan, fortunes changed. The favorite charts have changed a lot ever since after the semi-finals. Fair to say?
Yeah, fair to say. Villarreal had a great game against Real Madrid. That would give them a lot of confidence, meaning they took it till the end. United, obviously, for the last couple of games have not been playing their full strength squad. That's a good thing in a way that their main squad will be refreshed, but it might also be that they've lost that match focus. We never know. But United will still on paper be favourites just because of the squad they have, the bench and the variety they can add, switch and change up if things go awry. But we've discussed this over the last 2 podcasts. Villarreal under Emery, it's the Unai Emery touch in a Europa League final. Anything can happen. I'm really looking forward to that game because it won't be boring, for sure. But for me, I would go out on a limb saying it will be United lifting the trophy again. I think they won it 2-3 years ago, and when Mourinho was there. But I think United are favourites on paper.
I agree. I agree. United are favourites on paper. So if I have to put definite numbers to it, post the semi-finals, I was giving, let's say, 70-30, 70 United to 30 Villarreal. But if you ask me now, I would probably say 55-45. 55 United to 45 Villarreal. Because I was just going through Villarreal's number also, their team also. I mean, they don't have a dud team. They have Pau Torres, who is a Spain starter defender. Raul Albiol, a very experienced head. People must have remembered him from, I think, the Napoli days. They have midfielder, they have Dani Parejo, who is a Valencia legend. I mean, people who follow La Liga know more about Dani Parejo.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether Coquelin is fit. They have Etienne Capo, who's a decent midfielder. Forward line, they have Gerard Moreno. Now, Gerard Moreno, guys, he has scored 23 goals in this season in La Liga.
He's a great player. Very underrated, and he's finally getting his merit for the national team as well. And they have, I think you want to say it, Carlos Bacca.
Yeah.
Who scores goals for fun when he's in the mood.
Yeah, and Carlos Bacca is also a big game goal scorer. Like, he has that ability to raise his game in big games. So again, all I'm saying is that why I increase Villarreal chances from 30 to 45, but I'm not saying Villarreal are favourites yet. United are still favourites, even though they didn't have a great end to their season. Understandably so, that because they were playing with thinner squads, and back in the mind they know that they have nothing to play in the league. So definitely those things must have impacted. I'm pretty sure they're well prepared for the finals. So it's going to be a great game. Looking forward to it. So we both are going with Manchester United favourites, but we are not completely ruling out Villarreal, and we are saying that it's not going to be a walkover. It's going to be a good game. All right. Now coming to the big one, or the bigger one, the Champions League between Manchester.
Walkover.
Dude, to be very honest, just to remind you guys that I think after the semi-finals happened, I gave Chelsea a chance. Remember, Eeshaan, you were very surprised when I gave Chelsea a chance. Yeah. At that point of time, I had some justification. But right now, yesterday, I genuinely spent about 15-20 minutes. I thought so deep. I argued, counter-argued myself to see whether I can give Chelsea some chance. I couldn't.
Basically, Bala is crazy.
The point is, I dug so deep to see if there is any way that I can hold on to my choice. I couldn't. I literally couldn't.
I think the only chance Chelsea have is to take the match to penalties.
Yeah, that is the only chance. But there also I have a problem because Kante wasn't 100% fit. Now, it looked very, very minor. I think he must have felt a slight niggle. They didn't want to take a chance, so they took him off immediately. So he is key. I mean, I don't have to say how important Kante is to any team. Let's don't go there.
Yeah.
Eduardo Mendy, their champion goalkeeper this season, was injured last game against Aston Villa. So again, his injury is in question. His fitness is in question. Again, as far as what I have read so far, it doesn't look serious. But again, there is something that will play on the back of their heads. Just by seeing Kepa on the goal in itself is 5% away from Chelsea. Take 10% away from
But now it's scripted. Now if Kepa is playing, then we know it's a penalty shooter because he has to be substituted.
And he won't come.
Yeah.
He'll be like, no. Dude, if that happens to Tuchel, right, I guarantee Tuchel will personally run to the goal, will beat the shit out of Kepa, drag him out of the pitch.
But like on a serious note, City, if there ever was any doubt, City are always on paper the stronger team. But if you look at how they've played and how Chelsea have played over the last a month or so, I give Chelsea little or no chance. If Chelsea win, it will be a miracle.
Yeah, it will be a miracle.
Or Pep completely getting everything wrong. Like Foden in goal, who should be the goalkeeper. De Bruyne and Mare should play centre back. Laporte centre forward. Those tactics if Pep does, which he's capable of, then probably Chelsea might take it to penalties.
I honestly don't have any counter argument to that. That's what I was trying to do. See, the only chance, like tiny, miny, like this nano chance, if I have to give Chelsea, that's because City had like kind of a bit of an emotional release over the weekend, whereas Chelsea ended the season with, I mean, they're still pissed, they are still hot, they are still, they still want to finish the season on a high note. So there is that anger or whatever you call it that slight edge is where Chelsea has advantage over the million other factors that you would put to compare two teams.
But
Like,
that's I agree with you. But the current scenario, they can't buy a goal.
yeah,
Like literally, they cannot buy a goal. The only way you put pressure on City is by scoring, because then City go all out attack, and we know that they have a very forward, back line which will push up front, and then there are openings which you can exploit. But if you let City play the way City plays, which means you barely have the ball for 70 minutes, meaning it's not going to happen. Kante needs to probably have the best game of his life to impact this game, and that's going to be very tough, because if Tuchel puts Jorginho, Foden will run all over him or around him,
yeah,
and Kante will be just outmanned, because there will be Foden, De Bruyne. It's just too many for him to man. So just tactically, in terms of man for man, I find it very difficult for how Chelsea can contain this City side. But Champions League final storylines are built for this. Werner might have his greatest game ever. He might,
yeah,
you might score. Pulisic could do it for America. Havertz could actually tell us that he plays a footballing position that is actually written, known of. You never know what can happen. Thiago Silva can come back from the dead, score a header. A lot of things can happen. That's why we watch football. It's a Champions League final. Anything can happen. But after a really long time, I'm seeing a pretty one-sided Champions League final. I thought, PSG Bayern would be really one-sided, but it wasn't. The result obviously showed otherwise, but it was pretty evenly fought out in the game. But this, I do not see Chelsea having any chance. It would be a miracle if they do win this game.
yeah, it is. A miracle is the apt word if Chelsea wins this. I mean, this is even a bigger miracle than Chelsea winning in 2012 versus Bayern.
Yeah.
Because there at least they had someone like Drogba. Like, people could expect someone like Drogba to just raise above everyone else and produce a moment of brilliance, which he did. I don't even see that player in the Chelsea team right now.
Exactly.
Yes, Kante is there. Kante is a one-man army, but we have seen football for a very long time. You need that finisher. Again, we're not trying to be too negative for Chelsea fans. If you want to hang on to some level of a positive thread, I would hold on to Kante's fitness.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
And Eduardo Mendy.
Yeah. Those two are the best opportunity, best chance for Chelsea to get it to penalties. I'm not talking about winning. Get it to penalties at least. Yeah. All the best to all four teams, all four clubs, all four fans. Remember, guys, it's okay even if you lose. This is not the end of the world. You have another finals within 1 year. So, and in 3 months, everything will.
Yeah, next year Madrid will be back in the Champions League finals. Yeah. So it's fine.
And in 2 weeks, we'll have Euro starting over. So we'll forget all our Manchester United and Liverpool connections and start fighting for Portuguese and Netherlands and Italy. So everything will be forgotten. Just to round off this episode, we are going back to our quick headlines section. So we are going to talk about headlines about only one specific topic, which is all the national squads have been announced, or most of the national squads have been announced for the Euros 2020. We are recording this on 25th May, Tuesday, 11:30 a.m. So as of now, I think about 7-8 teams have released their final squad for the tournament. There were a couple of surprise inclusions and a massive surprise exclusion. But let's talk about the surprise inclusion first. Happily surprised to see Kareem Benzema back in the French squad. There is no one in the world other than Kareem Benzema and his immediate family was as happy as Eeshaan.
It was definitely the moment of the week for me, because it came out of the blue. It came out of the blue. But Kareem Benzema, we've all known, is one of the best forwards in Europe, if not the world. And there were a lot of politics that banned him or prevented him from being part of the national squad. But I think, imagine what a sight it would be for other big teams in Europe. Hey, Deschamps is like, okay, I have decided to bury the hatchet and I'm just going to add the best centre forward in Europe into the best team in the world,
Yeah.
right? And a forward line of Mbappe, Griezmann, and Benzema, meaning if
God,
like
I don't want to be the difference here.
you,
I really don't want to be the
just the
difference.
squad France has, the options they have, it's ridiculous. It will be a massive failure if they don't win this Euros, because without a doubt they are the strongest team man for man compared to any of the other big nations in the Euros. And you add Benzema to that fold, they were stronger without him. Now you add Benzema to that, and I mean, I'm personally so happy because Benzema is one of my all-time favorite players, just because of who he is, what a professional he is, what he's done for Real Madrid over the years. He's made for that. He needs that big moment with his country as well, and he's ready for it. And I think he had a Le Coupe interview yesterday where he was asked, what role would you expect? So he said that he had a man-to-man conversation with Deschamps. They buried the hatchet, and if there wasn't a role, Deschamps wouldn't have picked him. So obviously Deschamps has a plan. We saw all the big superstars of France excited that Benzema is coming back, because who wouldn't be? Like, Mbappe is not the kind of guy who will say, oh shit, Benzema is here, I'll probably lose my place in the squad. That's not going to happen. So it's only a bonus for France. I think the next big highlight, and I think before you say it, outside this news, was the exclusion of any Real Madrid player in the Spanish squad. When you look at the ground reality, I'm not surprised. I probably am very upset about Nacho not being selected with the season he's had for Real Madrid. Ramos with his injuries, I understand. But there's no other major Spanish player, probably Asensio, I guess, but no other major Spanish player that Madrid had that could have been in the squad. So I'm not shocked, but I'm upset because it's a big news, right?
Yeah.
No Real Madrid player in the Spain squad.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, it was very surprising to see no Real Madrid players. But again, as you pointed out, my only surprise was Nacho. I couldn't put a very strong case for Asensio, because Asensio was even starting games for even Real Madrid.
Yeah.
He wasn't even a regular starter for Real Madrid. So it's not that he didn't have a bad season. He wasn't even a regular starter. The one player I thought would have been there was Lucas Vazquez, but unfortunately he's injured, I believe.
Yeah.
I think otherwise I think Vazquez would have been there.
He would be a shoo-in, but he had a season-ending, so that's why he's out.
Very bad injury. Otherwise, Lucas Vazquez would have been there. But as you said, other than Nacho, I wasn't really shocked that no other Spanish player made it. The only reason Nacho was because the other defenders that were picked were also not that great. I mean, he picked Eric Garcia. So I thought Nacho was better than Eric Garcia.
Yeah, I mean, I think the addition of Laporte, I think, pegged Nacho's selection back. But I thought that would be balanced with Ramos not coming in. Who's going to be the captain? Who's this?
Busquets hoga. He's the senior most member, right?
I mean, Busquets starting will be interesting. Meaning,
Busquets might start. See, okay. Actually, guys, we'll actually discuss this much deeper. We'll discuss about this much later on a Euro preview podcast. But just to round off this point for Spain's team, in the midfield, I believe it will be Busquets, Thiago, and either. Who's that Napoli midfielder? I keep forgetting his name. Fabian Ruiz. It'll be either Ruiz or I believe it could be Dani Olmo. So maybe Busquets won't start. Thiago might play that holding midfielder role.
Or you could have Pedri.
Pedri will probably play a little closer to the goal, closer to attack. Either in the number 10 role or left of midfield.
Yeah.
Either of those two, or as a winger even. Because Ansu Fati is not there, he'll probably put Pedri over there.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about the Euros squad by squad in another separate podcast.
Another surprise inclusion, well, actually not so surprised to be honest. Muller and Hummels are back in the Germany squad. As I said, not so surprised the way Muller played over the last 2 seasons. I mean, he would have easily been in any of those top German squads. So it wasn't a big surprise. Again, as Deschamps, Yogi Löw also buried his hatchet. He also put his ego outside. I mean, it was his last it is his last campaign as a German manager anyway, so he doesn't care about the future of German football. So he's like, okay, this is my best chance.
He does care, but he doesn't care about his future.
Probably his point is like, I'll just pick the best option. I mean, I have one last chance. Let's pick the best team and give it a good chance. So, logical choice. It wasn't much surprise to see Müller and Hummels back in the squad. So again, Germany has announced their squad. Belgium, England, who were supposed to announce their squad yesterday, delayed their squad selection. I think it's getting announced today sometime. Other than that, no major surprise, and we will do a Euro preview later. But to round off our last season, league season episode, guys, I mean, we still have a couple of more episodes to talk about the Champions League finals and the season review and the Euro. Next week, in addition to doing the Champions League finals review, which we'll finish off in like first 15 minutes, we'll do a proper full season review. So we are going to review the season across the 5 leagues, at least across 3 leagues, based on a series of factors such as best recruitment, best squad recruitment, best transfers, the top 3 transfers, top 3 manager coaches, top 3 centre backs, top 3 full backs, midfielders, forwards, etc. and etc. Now, Eeshaan will have his opinions, I will have my opinions and choices. We will discuss certain opinions in detail, we'll discuss certain players, certain coaches in detail because, you know, they deserve to be discussed. But in addition to all this, we want you guys, we want you listeners to also be involved in this. By the end of this episode, I'll share a link in our description, a Google Doc link. Now, people who are lazy enough to go to the description and click on the link, we have our domain name, guys. You can go to SportsCharcha.com, as simple as that. SportsCharcha. SportsCharcha.com, no space, no hyphen, nothing in between. It will directly take you to the Google form. Fill in your choices. None of it is compulsory. If you don't want to put top 3, you can put top 2. If you don't want to put top 2, you can just put one player, one manager, no problem. For every answer, we have given a short description box. If any of you want to want to justify your opinions, if any of you wants to share an interesting insight that happened in this season, a funny insight or something wacky, something very funny, please do share. If we find it interesting, funny, like a lot of very insightful, we will read it out in our next episode. We'll be happy to do that. So don't wait, get on to sportscharcha.com immediately and fill in. And we'll have a lot of fun next week. I'm totally looking forward to next week. It'll be a slightly longer episode. We'll try to keep it as crisp as possible, but it'll be interesting. We'll make sure it's fun. All right, guys, that's about it for today. We will see you all next week. Again, all the best to Villarreal, Manchester United, Manchester City, Chelsea, Brentford, Swansea, to all your games. All the best. Have a great week, guys. Bye-bye.
Take care, guys. See you next week.
Thank you everyone for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, and also please, like we are literally begging, to rate our podcast on whichever app you are listening to. It not only helps us, but also new listeners to easily find our podcast. You can also reach out to us on Twitter @SportsCharcha. A big shout out to the Jam Room Audio for our theme music. You can follow the Jam Room on Facebook @the Jam Room Audio. Bye.